Long ago there was a people who fought with strength and courage, and when their warriors went to battle, they called upon the battle crow, that she might give them victory or else a good death and honors at the good striker's table in the lands below. And the crow loved her people and answered their prayers, for they were fierce and glad and quarrelsome, fearing nothing on earth but that the sky might fall upon their heads. This was the way it was for years and years. Until one day, a new enemy arrived from over the mountains, organized, meticulous, who wanted not only to raid her people's lands, but to own them and control them with forts and roads and words carved into stones. They brought with them beautiful things and useful things, and some of the crow's people decided to be Roman if they could, and others fought and were defeated, or fought and won, only to have their children or their children's children defeated, for the spread of empire was endless and hungry. And the battle crow, who had always been fierce and wild, fell into grief and then into madness. Her people were lost, defeated, scattered, enslaved, and finally dead, as their children took on new ways and forgot her, until finally none paid her worship except the hungry ghosts of bones left scattered on the battlefield. It was once the way that returning warriors would be welcomed back into the tribe with cauldron and mead cup, with story and ritual and fresh butter on baked bread, that they may put down their battle madness and battle weariness, and be fit again to play with children, tend livestock, sow seeds. But the battle crow and her last worshippers had no home to return to, and no one left to welcome them there. So they wandered the land in rage and despair for a long time. Lifetimes and lifetimes later, when the temples of their enemies had worn down to ruined stones, and those stones had been stolen to build new churches, and those churches too had worn down to ruins. The slow shifting of the stars in the night sky brought possibilities which had not existed before. Humankind moved swiftly now over the land, and their words and images yet more swiftly through the air. And offering stones were dug up, and humans took pictures, wrote articles, gave lectures. But a few did more than this. Cathubodua, they prayed, pouring out offerings of whiskey and wine. We hear that your name means battle crow, and we honor you and ask for your blessing. And the crow heard them and came, shaking out her feathers, and she loved them fiercely, these new scattered people of hers, though her eyes were dark and her mind clouded with pain and bitterness and madness. Others of the Deawoi also returned their attention to the land of the humans, hearing their names again on the lips of worshippers. And the Thunderer's wheel was made in new smithies, and mead was brewed in the name of the mead giver. The Nourisher blessed babies, and the Starry One healed injuries, and the boundary-crossing god with horns led his followers through the mists to find each other. And the Matroni again kept hearths and wove mysteries, and their priests spoke oracles and sang songs, and danced for joy and grief and joy again. And the people welcomed home the battle crow and all her lost warriors into the heart of the hearth of the Matroni, where finally they could rest, and finally they could come home again. For the lost ones need not be lost any further, and the mad ones are comforted, and the hurt ones are held, and the battle crow, though always fierce and wild, need never be homeless again.